Hello everybody, this is Draven from the US Burning Legion server. Today I'll be tackling balanced Druid raid DPS on my Druid, Draven Zul, who boasts a 359 equipped item level and a sweet 4-piece tier 11 bonus. I'm going to breeze over the stats, talents, and glyphs relatively quickly because there's a lot of other websites out there who can take care of that for me. In short, as a balanced Druid, your stat priority in descending order is going to be Intellect, above the hit cap, which is 17%, above haste, above mastery, and above crit. If you armor read my tune, that's what you're going to find. In terms of talents, instead of going over individually every talent I did take, I'm going to go over what I didn't take and explain why. Moonglow and Dream State, neither of these are in my spec because I don't really have any trouble with mana. And especially Dream States, you'll see I glyphed Innervate. I just didn't find myself using it. I didn't see it to be necessary or needed. I also didn't take Gale Winds because it's really rare that I use Typhoon, and it's even more rare that I use Hurricane in a raid setting. Took points in Fervor, or Fur, for the increased mana, and then Natural Spell Shapeshifter to get Master Shapeshifter for the increased spell damage, and the increased intellect from Heart of the Wild. Alright, so take a look at glyphs. I took Moonfire, Insect Swarm, and Star Surge. I tried Wrath over Insect Swarm, and it panned out pretty well on a single target, but on AoE situations where I'm spamming dots and everything, it couldn't even compete. So these are what I recommend. I also took Glyph of Starfall, Rebirth, and Innervate. Glyph of Starfall lets me use Starfall every time I hit my Lunar Eclipse. Who doesn't want to be res back to life with 100% health? Who's with me? And Innervate again, because it's really rare that I cast Innervate on myself. It's normally on a healer, and so it's just nice to benefit and get a little bit of that back. Minors don't really matter. The add-ons I'm using are Balanced Power Tracker. It's really just a nifty add-on to help me keep track of how much solar or lunar power I have. I really recommend you get it, fiddle with it. Quite customizable, and you will probably like it, as I do. My general raid UI, up here is Titan Panel, chatbox add-on called Prat. I just moved my box down here. Recount, Omen, Bartender 4 is the way I have my bar set up. The add-on Button Facade lets me turn some of them into circles and put this red border trim around them. This funky looking map is called Sexy Map. Tons of different options. This is the one I chose for this tune. Right here, D-HUD, which is the heads-up display, helps me keep a general idea of how much health and mana I have without looking for the numbers. I have Healbot for B-reses and Innervates, and for healing. Over here, I'll be using Bartender as well as my Power Auras. These sweet things basically just tell me when I have my procs, these ones, which eclipse I'm in, so I don't forget. And down here, if this is up, it means Insect Swarm is not on the target. This one will always have something up, be it Moonfire or Starfire or Sunfire, and it just tells me which one's on the target. Again, I like to have it up. Right in the middle, this is Astral Alignment, my 4-piece set bonus. With the 3 stacks. Alright, getting to the meat of the stuff, rotation. I found that the higher I burst off the bat with any class, the higher my overall DPS is going to be at the end, provided there's not a mechanic that requires me to save my cooldowns. So, assuming a fight's just a straight burn fight, kind of like Chimeron, if you will, then my initial rotation is going to be really important. The first thing I want to try and do is put 3 my little mushrooms right under the boss, seeing as they don't pull aggro until they're lit off. It's nice to have them there. Or if you know where some ads are going to spawn, you know, Magma or green phase of Maloriak, nifty to have. Even in the beginning of the black phase, heroic Maloriak, if the tank's going to hold him there for a little bit. And once he has aggro, you can pop that. Cool. Next thing I'm going to try and do is get 3 stacks of Fairy Fire up on the boss. That's generally the first thing I'll do before I even open with any other rotation, just to get it done out of the way. It's once every 5 minutes. You know, it's pretty simple. Now, my big rotation. Basically, what I'm going to do is I have a macro. It's a cooldown macro like many other classes have. It just casts my berserking, my racial, my volcanic potion, my on-use trinket, which is the one you get from valor points, and force of nature, my trance. I'm going to hit that macro and summon my trance. Then the next couple of spells are all going to be buffed between my potion and my soul casket, my trinket. I will then open up with Star Fall, Star Surge, Insect Swarm, Moonfire, and Starfire. From there, I'm just going to keep casting Starfire until I get to Solar Eclipse. Once I get eclipsed, I'm going to do my best to get Star Surge off within the first 3 casts, hoping it'll be a crit. If it's instant, if I get to like 80 solar power, I'm just going to save my instant cast, so it'll be the first thing I'll do going into that eclipse, and it'll be nice. Big crits. Woo! Once I get my 3 initial cast off, I'll reapply my dots, keep casting Wrath until I'm down to about 20. Once I get to about 20, once I finish the Wrath cast, that'll bring me to 7. I'm going to queue up an instant disease. I always use Insect Swarm first. So it'll be, say I have 20 solar power, I'm going to cast Wrath, and then immediately cast Insect Swarm. I'll then have 7 solar power, I'll cast Wrath again, and at the end of that Wrath, I'm going to quickly be mashing my Sunfire ability. And the way our class works is going out of an eclipse, instant cast abilities that are cast before the spell land will be affected by that eclipse. So that Moonfire, or should I say Sunfire, will be affected by my solar eclipse. However, going into an eclipse, instant cast abilities like an instant Star Surge or an instant, or a dot, will not benefit from that eclipse. So what you'll see me doing is, once this bar hits 100, say I'm casting Sunfire, I have 90, I cast my last Starfire, and it's going to push me over. I'm going to start casting Wrath before I cast any of my instant abilities. What that's going to let me do is ensure that once that Wrath lands and that global's up and that cast time is off, anything after that cast is going to be affected by my solar eclipse. It's kind of like insurance, if you will. And then from there, I'm going to work my way down, and I'm going to try and get both diseases put up before I start working towards my lunar power. And you guys will see that in action. That's really about the basis of it. Once I hit my lunar eclipse, I'm going to hit a couple of Starfires and hopefully a Star Surge. Once my 3 stacks of Astral Alignment are gone and I've reapplied my buffs, I'm going to hit Star Fall, because you want to make sure you hit that every time it's up if you can, especially while you're in a lunar eclipse. And then just keep casting Starfire till I'm about to come out of my eclipse. And then as I'm going out of my eclipse, the 2 casts before I'm fully out, after each one I'm going to be casting a disease. I'm going to be queuing up a disease to make sure that it benefits from that eclipse. You guys are going to see that in practice. I'm going to talk you guys through it as I go down this. I'm about to go ahead and start. I'll be running a 5-minute test, just straight burn. I'm going to not proc my wild mushrooms until I get into my first solar eclipse phase and after I've used all 3 stacks of my astral alignment. If I hit that going into solar eclipse, each mushroom is going to take up a stack of my astral alignment, which is amazing on certain AoE phases. It is 3 guaranteed crits on your hardest AoE ability. That's awesome, but for single target, it's not what I want. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and again, once I start my timer, I'm going to hit my macro to summon my trance and get all my buffs. Starfall, Star Surge, Insect Swarm, Moonfire, and I'm just going to start spamming the Starfire. And then from there, I'll talk you guys through it. So let's see this in action. Alright. Alright, I'm going to start casting. Use my 2 stacks, use my 3rd stack, reapply my dots, use my mushrooms. As you can see, I'm about to 30k. This is where I'm going to be casting my instant cast after each of these wraths to ensure that they're buffed up by that solar eclipse. Alright, about to hit lunar eclipse. Now I'm going to hold off on these diseases until my 3 stacks are down. Now I'm going to cast Starfall. After that Starfire, I'm going to hit Insect Swarm, and after the one I just cast, I did Moonfire to ensure that it was still buffed by my Lunar Eclipse buff. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is queue up a Wrath, instant cast Star Surge, and now I'll start reapplying my dots. It's just like that, back and forth. Put them on at the beginning, put them on at the end. Cases like that, where my Star Surge procced at the very end of an Eclipse, I'm just going to go ahead and apply both dots before I hit that last Wrath. And at the end of that last Wrath, I'm going to hit my instant cast Star Surge, because it's going to benefit from that Eclipse. Alright, reapply my dots. Starfall. Keep spamming, just like that, back and forth. Insect Swarm. Moonfire. Use Star Surge on cooldown. Just like that. And it just continues back and forth. See, I just got that instant Star Surge, so I'm going to go ahead and use both dots and use that instant as the very last thing at the end of my solar eclipse to ensure that it's buffed by it, which will lead to overall higher DPS. Hit my Starfall. I almost went out before reapplying my dots. Make sure if that happens, just jump out of your cast. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and resummon hit all my cooldowns again. Pop my Trents and everything. And again, I'm going to reapply both dots before going out of this phase, because I just got that instant Star Surge. I'm going to reapply Fairy Fire so it doesn't fall off anytime soon. Hit Starfall. Same thing here. I got that instant Star Surge at the very end of my Eclipse, so I'm going to save it and let that be the last instant cast I get off, so that it's buffed by my Lunar Eclipse. Alright, use 3 stacks of Astral Alignment. That's when I want to reapply my dots. And again, it's the very end, just like this. Alright, I'm going to pull this up and get ready to link. I like to link all my meters in chat at the very end so I can see it, take screenshots, and compare. Reapply my dot. And just keep going back and forth. Just like that. Make Star Surge the first thing I cast this time around. Alright. About 5 seconds before I gotta link this. Call it quits. Alright, there we go, guys. Almost 5.9 million damage in a 5-minute spam. 19.6k DPS sustained. I think that's what most people want to see. That's how I play my Boomkin. I've always got room to improve, as does most people. But this should definitely provide a good starting point for most people. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one.